welcome to my channel and welcome to the next video. This week I am embarking on a different type of video, one that will help you to shape your path into the shamanic way. For those coming out of one way and going into another way, some tips and ideas. I hope you enjoy. Hi guys, Gothic Witch here. I've been looking at ways I could help new witches who are on a pathway but are actually not so sure that they want to carry on with that particular path, and that they feel something stirring within that is causing them to reassess what path they are actually embarking on. Now, I know for me, I spent many years on a traditional witchcraft path and Wicca. I did everything I could, sometimes didn't agree with some of the stuff, and it was a big thing for me. But I didn't think there was anything else out there that I would be able to fit in with. I thought it'd be good to do a video on the things that made me decide about the more shamanic path and why I felt it was for me, and little things that happen that help draw you to this type of pathway. You know, with me, I've always loved nature, I've always loved things, but I do know that when we would do outdoor rituals with the traditional craft, I was more likely to, let's put it this way, I didn't like the strictness, I didn't like the conformity. I wanted to let rip, to let the energies within come out. Everything had to be done in a subtle way, everything had to be done in an order, and that I found was becoming more and more difficult for me. You do have to have discipline in magic, I agree, but when it comes to things that you have within that other people might not have. Now, what I mean by that is, for example, when I was in the coven, there was a lot of people who didn't agree with psychic phenomena, that they didn't agree with anybody talking to, as they call it, the deities from the day I was born. So there was something that I was suppressing, which goes against your nature. So if you suppress something for long enough, it battles to come out. Now, I found that every time I went out, I suddenly saw trees. There were trees everywhere come out of the woodwork all of a sudden, but they're not just trees. They become like people, each one looking different, each one having a personality, each one having something to give, and you can feel it. The birds flying in the air all of a sudden become like people, that you will notice that they will stop and they will look at you, that they have something to offer you. I found after a while that all these things were conflicting with the type of practice that I was embarking on. So I carried on and I got into my high priesthood, and then I realised that there was something different out there for me, and I wanted to share this today with any new people that are looking and not knowing what the calling is. But I think what I found was all these little things started to come together. So like, first of all, the trees. The moon I'd always had, like my moods would change violently around the full moon. And as doing a diary helped me to work out where in a month my moods would get. And so that I took for granted. But then I started to notice the trees and the birds and the animals, and they all became like people to me rather than things that I'd not really noticed before. I then found the drum and the rattle, and the next point was to journey. Now, how I attained that was because I have mediumship abilities. It wasn't hard for me. It really wasn't hard for me at all, because I've had these abilities since I was a child. I also have studied in mediumship and have done readings on platforms. So that part is not hard for me. But what the part was to do it in a way that was deity worship wise. It was also conflicting when you're still doing one type of work, to then embark on something new at the same time is very difficult. So I had to do this on my own. I had to find a way, and my way was to make myself available. Now, if you're thinking of doing the same sort of thing, what I mean by making yourself available is to spend time sitting once a day to start with in complete silence. Light a candle and just sit there and just free your mind and just sit there and allow the quietness to absorb into you. For in the quietness you can hear, but it comes slowly and it takes time. At first it will be a whisper, at first it will be a thought, at first it will be an idea. So you take all these thoughts and these ideas and these whispers and you write them down, and after a while look at them and you will see a purpose. Mine was all about getting in touch with the inner me, the child within, the one that needed to escape, to go into the wooded areas and to play like I did as a child, to find that child that had disappeared because the adult took over. Didn't mean I had to become like a child. What it meant was to enjoy what you did when you was a child. Now, when I was a child, I would go into the wooded areas and I would make little areas that I could live. So I'd make like little huts out of the branches and the dirt, and I would sit in there singing away to myself, quite oblivious to what was going on around me. I was in my own world, and that, my friends, is the way to find within. So that's what I did. I went into the wooded areas and I found areas that I enjoyed, and I sat in the quiet. And then eventually things started to get added to it. I started to do a little fire that I could sit around, and then I would meditate, and then I would do, one day I felt the need to get up and dance around the fire, but I also felt the need to take all my clothes off. Funny story was that I still had my boots on. It was sort of October time. I did this because there was no way anybody could see me, so it was okay. I felt elated. I felt like I'd let the animal out of the cage, and this was the beginning for me. Then I thought the next step was to look at my altar indoors and see why I had my altar that way. Because it was the training I'd been given. It was all about keeping your altar a certain way. So the next thing I did was to free myself. I took everything off the altar and I just put on the altar what I felt I needed there to be. And at first it was just a statue. Then Freya came into my life. Freya, wonderful Freya. She is a big part of my existence and my life. And she came in and she showed me how to become the woman that I am within. Guys, it is freeing, it is wonderful, but obviously you need to be that type of a person for it to work for you, and everybody is different. So please take what I am saying as it's my experience. Yours is still to happen, or if it is happening, it will be different. What I would say is that Freya was my patron, well, she was my deity, and everybody will have their own type of deity, and they will make themselves physically known to you. I mean, I had many experiences with her, but what I want to do today, that will be another story. What I want to do today is call upon Freya and help you to start the proceedings. I want to ask her to help you, to guide you, to show, maybe to give you something that you can take away from this video and use to help you aim the right direction. And for that and I'm going to ask her by going into a type of thought transfer. So. I see a candle before me, a nice white pure candle. This candle is right before my eyes, and it is a light, it is a nice big flame. If you could, the pureness of the whiteness, which is, I'm being told to tell you, the novice, the naivety, the newness of the journey ahead. To be at peace in your mind, that not to think too deeply about what it is you are doing, to be guided. I'm now being shown an eagle going beyond you with the bright yellow eyes. The eyes are crisp, the eyes are showing that the interest and the urgency of learning. It's to be taken at the right pace, to be with the elements, to absorb the elements around you, also to do some work upon the elementals. So to take earth, air, fire and water, normally you would start with air, to meditate upon air and feel the presence of air, and to work with air for a few days at a time till you feel comfortable. And then I'm being told to put a gap between each one, and then to go on to the next, which would be fire, and then water, and then earth. The deities are there, but you will only know what deity when you have come to know the elements and know yourself. To know yourself is to know your deity, for your deity is like a friend, and as a friend you are drawn to the same things. Now Freya is with me, and she is sending thoughts of a great time of revival, that people are looking to acknowledge their inner being, and the deities, as they will be called, the old ones, are coming back. They are back. They're not coming back, they are back. And for you to practice these things, and Freya wishes to tell you that within the flame is within the heart, and within the heart is within the soul, and the soul has lived many times. You have inner strength, inner energy, you have inner memories. She's showing me the beads that you would wear around your wrist. Now those beads, they're like a sort of mantra you can do each day. So if you feel drawn to a specific deity, take the beads, hold each one, and do the name. So if it was Freya, I would hold each one and go, Freya, and then Freya, goddess of light, and then Freya, goddess of war, and go through each one until you build up that circle of movement. And she says this will aid you in connecting. Your mind will be focused. She's now showing me feathers. Her feather, the large feather, is for incense. It is for showing the power of air, the power of the senses, of what you pick up through different types of incense. To bring it all together will aid you in your new path work, your new path that you are going to start walking upon. She shows me the staff. Are you the staff bearer, my friends? Are you the Volva? Are you the one that will hold the staff? Are you the one that will walk with the staff in front of you, showing you the way? Just some ideas now. Freya is walking backwards, and on the floor are white flowers. The white flowers signify newness and a lightness, and a new way to walk. You will get much joy from this path. So guys, she's now leaving. We say farewell, Freya. Thank you for your aid today. Thank you. And farewell. So guys, I hope some of this may have helped some of the ones that are embarking on this. For Freya has given you some good ways to start to walk this way. So I'm going to leave it there. You don't want me waffling on. I'm going to make a point though, guys. Embarking on a new path can be daunting, but do it in your own time. Don't rush anything. You're going to be here for whatever length of time you're going to be alive. So take your time. Absorb what you need to absorb. And if you want more information from Freya, if you want me to keep connecting with her to give you more ideas, I'm sure she would help you to find your way. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you to any new subscribers. Thank you to the ones that have come back, and most of all, thank you to those that are always here for me. I really love you all. I always feel this sort of energy when Freya's been around me, so forgive me, please. I feel a lot of love to pour out to all of you. So on that note, I'm going to say, wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. Hausa Verlang.